Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome back to Boz Comics. Now, some of you in the audience, I'll tend to like 15 of you, may be saying, Boz, what the fuck, bro? This is not a video about a comic book. Unless, of course, that you're lying with the thumbnail and the title and whatnot. I am not lying to you. This is indeed a video not about a comic book, at the very least, not in the traditional sense. It is a video about an anime. But the anime does have a manga adaptation somewhere in there, and I guess manga are considered, right, comics in their own right, the Japanese comics of a sort. Really, I always wanted to talk about comics of different forms on this channel, not just American, Western comics, right? Especially with like a lot of the pushback that modern comic books get. I always wanted to incorporate my love for manga and anime and what have you. If you love manga, some of you might really be into Thursday's video, but that's Thursday. Right now, we are talking about Re:Zero, which is, as the title suggests, a really amazing anime that you should watch. It is completely worth your time. So, I'm really bad at YouTube. I'm supposed to make this like big pitch in the beginning to get people like hooked on the video. And I'm just not. I don't like playing by YouTube's rules, which is why I'll probably never be successful. But, right, Re:Zero. It's awesome. So, if you... How do I want to do this? Do I want to like pitch this as like, oh, you'll love it if you don't love anime? No. You probably won't love Re:Zero if you're not into anime. Actually, I think that's a point worth making. Re:Zero, I think, is not best viewed by people who don't care for anime. I think it is a show that works best if you're really immersed in nerd culture, especially anime and manga. So Re:Zero follows our protagonist named Natsuki Subaru. Natsuki Subaru is a NEET, which is an acronym that, oh god, in Japan stands for not in education or employment, I believe, or something like that. It's people like me who are bums who are like shut inside 90% of the time. He is a young guy, just like really kind of like struggling, like to exist, for all sorts of reasons. He's a shut-in nerd, dealing with all manner of insecurities and other issues. One day he goes out to get himself some dinner from a convenience store. I think the coolest thing ever about Japan is that apparently they sell little boxed, like little bento boxes in convenience stores. That's fucking rad. They need to bring that here to the States immediately. But he like goes out to dinner for himself one night. He blinks and he's in a fantasy world. That is not a spoiler. That is literally the first like minute and a half of episode 1 of season 1. There is no more explanation than that. Motherfucker is just like hum-dum going through life. Oh god, there are elves and shit and people with swords. This is awesome. Right away, if you are familiar with anime and you've already seen a bunch of these like transported to another world kind of narratives, the first thing that really stands out is that Subaru takes to this like a duck to water. He is like what I think a lot of us nerds would be like if we were transported to a fantasy world in the blink of an eye, with no preamble whatsoever. I think we'd just be like fucking once we got over like, are we dreaming, right? We would be like, this is amazing and I never want to leave. And that is pretty much Subaru's jam. He's just like, this is fucking dope. More than that, he's immediately like, what are my fucking protagonist powers? Because I'm sure that I have some. There's a scene in season 1, like episode 1, where he just like starts, I think he tries like casting a fireball in the middle of the fucking street like a fucking jackass, and it's great. Well, eventually, what Subaru discovers very early on is that his protagonist power, because he does indeed have one, his protagonist power is that when he dies, he goes back, he restarts, he goes back to an earlier point in the day or an earlier point in time and gets the chance to try again and make it right. That becomes a bit of a problem, though, because he is not some great hero. He can barely fight at all. He's not that smart. He is just a really average high school kid who would probably just like it's he dies immediately. Like shit just goes wrong for him immediately. And if it weren't for this mysterious power that he has, he just wow, geez, that was a really quick, it's a really short-lived escapist fantasy right there, Subaru. Damn, hats off to you, buddy. So that's cool, right? It's a bit of a time travel sort of mystery thing. That's the premise. That oh man, Protag stuck in another world. When he dies, he gets to reset. Except it's not played for laughs. It's not funny at all. ReZero is a psychological horror anime wearing the veneer of an isekai. This show delves into the existential horror inherent in constantly reliving events in a way that I have only ever seen done well in two other instances. One being, of course, Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, and another anime, Steins Gate, which I will probably cover on this channel at some point. ReZero, though, I think is hands down the best one because it just keeps going. It just keeps going. See, the great thing about ReZero is we get to watch this normal dude who has to overcome so much in this crazy fantasy world. The only thing that separates him from anybody else is the fact that when he dies, he gets a fucking do-over. And it's great. That's the only thing that makes him special. So everything else, he has to fight like hell to achieve. He very, very, very slowly becomes more competent, more aware of his surroundings and of himself. He recognizes more of his strengths. He grows. And it's a joy to watch. It is a joy to watch. You also get kind of that really awesome Spider-Man feeling that I'm always talking about on this channel, where you see this man suffer incredible injustice and despair, and yeah, it hurts to see him kicked while he's down so many times, but then you get to see him rise up and stand triumphant for a little while anyway before he gets knocked back down again. But our boy Subaru goes through some shit. He suffers, and it's very hard to watch. Because, you know, as he struggles day by day in this fantasy world, he makes new friends and acquaintances. I by the way, there's so many wonderful characters in ReZero, but I don't need to talk about any of them to explain why I think this show is great, which is awesome. So I can pitch this to you, and like hopefully that'll be enough to fucking get you to watch the show. And I have to spoil almost nothing. I love that. I love that shit. But he gets to engage with so many wonderful, fantastical characters, and he forms connections with them. He forms bonds, relationships. Dude, honestly, it takes him a long time to realize it, but he really makes a lot of friends. And every time he dies and starts over, all those wonderful, beautiful relationships that he curated, like, oops, all that work is undone for everyone except him. So while he's growing, all these like fucking roots that he's put down, like all these like fucking, you know, meaningful relationships he's built with other people, like these bonds that he's forged, a la Persona, it gets snatched away from him, and it's heart-wrenching, but it's also captivating. You can't look away from it. It's like an emotional car wreck. It's just a delight. So you get to watch him like fight to try to like it's another reason he never wants to die, because it's like, oh my god, you know, where's the risk, right? Where's the inherent risk in if the character can just start over? Well, one, like, as the plot picks up and evil starts rearing its ugly head, you know, his driving motivation becomes trying to save as many people as possible. A big defining part of Subaru's character is that he doesn't want to let anything bad happen to anyone that he cares about. And he goes to great lengths to try to see that realized. But and he also wants to protect the relationships that he has built with people, because if he dies and goes back, that shit's over. Now later on, like, he finds out again. Okay, this is a mild spoiler. It doesn't really matter. When he accomplishes certain things, like, his checkpoint gets updated, right? And so, like, for the longest time, if he dies, he like respawns right back in the center of town. And it's like he accomplishes more shit. His checkpoint gets updated, and he can return by death. That's what he goes on to call his ability. He can return by death to a later point in his timeline of events. Which also brings with it its own shitty consequences, because then it's like, no, my checkpoint updated. Fuck, I can't go back and fix that shit anymore. Oh god, that's awful. If he, makes these bonds with these characters, he doesn't want to lose that. So it's not like everything that he's ever done since he showed up gets undone, right? But he can lose a lot. And thirdly, I love that the show delves into this. Dying sucks. He still dies. He just gets back up and time is reset. It hurts to die. It's horrifying to die. It's easy to say, oh, if I was in that situation, I would just fucking kill myself. No, you wouldn't. Because it takes like fucking crazy amounts of balls to do that. And he doesn't want to do that. And I don't blame him. Like, I get sweaty palms just thinking about like killing myself, right? I know, very unbecoming of a millennial. No, but the show really, like, it tackles these concepts of the value in relationships, the value that we place on the mark that we leave on the world. It discusses themes of self-worth and belonging and friendship and the heart of the cards, which I know is like very anime, but it really tackles these topics in these like fun and engaging ways. And just the emotional payoffs that you'll find in ReZero are oh man, is it too hyperbolic to say that they're like nothing I've ever experienced? Like, there's definitely media that has affected me more than ReZero, but I don't think anything since ReZero has affected me so strongly, like as strongly as it does, like this consistently. I'm gonna like readjust my mic a little bit because I'm a professional. That's the thing. There's other stuff that will hit you harder than the show, but this show hits you as hard as it does very consistently, and it's very rewarding. Oh my god. So the first half of season 2 just finished, which is why I'm tackling this video now. I was like, hey, people might click on this fucking video. The first half of season 2 is just finished, and it's fucking great. And it's every fucking episode almost, there's like a twist at the end. There's some kind of emotional payoff. It's so great. Every episode of this show will give you a reason to keep watching. It will reveal something, or you'll get an awesome scene. Oftentimes, both. You'll get an awesome scene and an awesome reveal, and some big pivotal emotional character defining moment. It's so good. It's so good. I've never watched an episode of ReZero and gone, that's it. That's all you got. I have watched every episode going, oh God, I want more. I want more. I want more. Jesus Christ. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I think it's actually like very cathartic. If you're someone who struggles with self-worth, or someone who thinks their only value is inherent in what they can provide for others, I think that watching ReZero can be relatable in ways that I wish that it wasn't, but I also think it could provide a form of catharsis. So I think it's worth consuming for those reasons as well. But great characters, great emotional payoffs, a really flawed but still compelling and I would say wonderful main character who's not like other anime protagonists. ReZero, starting life in another world, is just wonderful. It's wonderful. It's beautiful, and you should go fucking watch it immediately. All right, thanks. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. if you are just finding this now, because there is a slight possibility this will appease the YouTube gods and I'll get some attention on this vid. If you are watching this now, I'm just coming back to YouTube after my latest hiatus. I generally talk about American comic books, but I am branching out and doing other things as well. I do. This is my usual style of content. It's long, rambly, pseudo podcast style, generally unedited stream of consciousness commentary. That is not for everybody, but if you liked listening to me and you would like to see more of this style of content, please stick around. I would be so happy to have you. All right, that's it. Thanks. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.